Yo, how's it going? Got back in the Kenworth. Man, the front end was about to fall out of this thing. And they got it all fixed. I thought it was messed up. I drove it all winter like that. Anyway, so they got it taken care of. And I went and got glasses and some shoes. So if it's gonna be the end of the world, and that China's going to quit sending us stuff, everything like that or whatever, go get your medical staff, get you some glasses, you know what I mean, get you some training. I got to get back in. I got to get some hand-to-hand combat training. I got to get some medical training. I'm just a long ways from where I was, you know what I mean. I fought that old boy and I couldn't get a lick on him. Now, most sane people wouldn't have fought him to begin with just because of the size difference. You know what I mean? You can't just jump on a bear. You know, well, you can, but you're not going to win. Anyway, this guy this a big old boy, and I mean, he wasn't the biggest guy. You know, I mean, he was only about 6'4", 320. You know what I mean? He wasn't the biggest guy. You know what I mean? I'm every bit of 5'9". I'll take you on, buddy. I'll take you on. He did seem surprised I kept coming back. Anyway, so I got the glasses. Immediately a debt collector called me, trying to get money out of me before I broke my leg off. And then I called him back. They called him back. They claimed to be a lawyer. They told me I had a failure to appear warrants and all kinds of stuff like that. Blah, blah, this thing. From 2016, they said. And then they're like, oh, you're acknowledging the debt. I was like, lady, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, you guys call me up, say a little bit of stuff, and then hang up or whatever. I'm trying to figure it out. It's like, if you guys want to take care of business, if I owe somebody some money, I'll pay it. I'm that kind of guy. You know what I mean? But the only time I went to the doctor up there, that was all workman's comp. You know what I mean? Like, they gave me a check for $30,000, and then that's how I paid off my child support, which then started again somehow, and then I went to jail again because I didn't know it started again. So anyway, I don't know. But they're talking about garnishing $3,800. Said they sent me something in the mail, and I'm like, I don't know how Rocket Mortgage, AAA, and the debt collectors from the hospital all sent me messages in the mail, certified mail, but I don't get them. And then when I explain that I have a groundskeeper that gets the mail and somebody there to adjust me, and this lady was on the phone and she's like, well, we're going to send somebody to your house. I was like, I mean, you can, but like, I don't know what good it's going to do you. I was like, I'm in Far, Texas right now. I'm fixing to go to Laredo to get a load. That's going to Seattle, Washington. So, I mean, if I owe you something, like, send me an invoice in the mail, like the email, you know what I mean? Let me see what's going on here. Because, and I didn't even get a chance to tell the first 6 people I talked to that, hey, look, like, you're barking up the wrong tree. I've already went to the, federal court thing to do the settlement, and the settlement's like all the medical. So, like, for them to be released from further medical, they had to accept 100% of, the surgeries and all this kind of stuff, when they, because I broke my leg off. So I'm trying to explain this to this lady. Finally, one of them would listen. And they blast off with about 5 of these legal jargons, which I know exactly what they're talking about. But it's incredibly annoying if you just act like you don't. I had that lady spell it. Let's see here. Fall River, Massachusetts. I was like, can you spell that? She's like, Fall River. I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm just a truck driver. Can you please spell that? Oh, man. And then, like a couple minutes into the conversation, I'm so, So then I read back everything they said to me. I just read it back. I'm like, da 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 da. So then you're gonna love this. Here's the best part. Here's the best part. So then I called them back, and then brought up the workman's comp and everything else like that. And I was like, that's the only time I've been to that doctor, and blah blah whatever. And I gave my email. I said, get that to me or whatever, and I'll have my attorney break it down. So and so did something, and then such and such took over the debt, and now you're the lawyer for this outfit, right? So they've already misrepresented themselves about 6 different ways. And then so I call them back again, and after explaining, like, hey, it really is not my debt, and I really need you to send me the paperwork showing that I owe you money. I'm not in the habit of giving away $3,700. So if you'll send me the chain of events proving that I owe you some money, cool. And they're like, well, we're gonna have to send the sheriff with a subpoena to your house. And I'm like, well, I'm not sure exactly who you're gonna send to my house, but I don't know how they're gonna get past the fence, past the dogs, past the other fence, the real mean dogs, and then just be able to knock on the door. And then, like, I'm not gonna be there because I'm a truck driver. So you know what I mean? You should probably send me an email with an invoice if you want to get paid, because that's the way people actually handle business. Anyway, so they hung up on me, and so at this point they realized they're not going to strong arm me, right? Because that's what they do. They try to scare you. Oh, you're going to go to jail. The sheriff's coming. The sheriff's coming. The sheriff's coming. What am I going to do? The sheriff's coming. Oh. The constable for the area is one of my neighbors. Like, well, just tell the guy, I'll see him at church. Tell Larry I'll be at church. It'll be about 3 weeks before I get back. Just hang on to it till I get there. Anyways, so sons of bitches. So I call back and it just goes to voicemail. So I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know why it keeps hanging up. So I start telling them about my trip. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go over here to Laredo. Then I'll go up this way. Man, if you go this way, man, then the sunsets are so pretty. You gotta stop, man. If you ever get a chance to do the Texas Taco Tour, you've got to stop there. And then I'm gonna go up through Roswell. Man, they got little aliens out there. You can take a picture with them and stuff. It's real cool. I said, they're driving this truck, I said, it's a great big truck. I said, I got a kitchen and everything, but I like to get the tacos made. You know what I mean? I said, it's kind of like driving an RV, except you ain't got your kids with you, so you can just do whatever you want. You know what I mean? And I just told them about the whole trip. So the thing, beep, you know what I mean? So then I call them back again. I did this 3 times, and I left messages describing the trip from Laredo to Seattle, and it described 3 different ways to go. And I mean, thorough details and everything like that. And at the end of it, I was like, and yeah, we get this settled up. I was like, this low pays $7,842. So, if I owe you something, it wasn't going to be no big deal to pay you or whatever. I just, got to bill it out because that'll be an expense. So I can write that off on my profit and loss statement, along with the attorney fees for figuring this out. Ain't heard nothing back from them. But just remember that. Just no matter what, be as nice as you can. Act like you can't hear, and ask them to spell everything. Hang on. Who am I doing business with? Tina? Can you spell that? Tina? With a J? Oh, Tina. Okay, Tina. T-I-N. Oh, okay. Yeah, Tina. I knew somebody named Tina one time. Man, it was about 3rd grade. Start telling a story about Tina. Just make something up. And then, now then you got to ask them the name of the business. Say, now hang on a second. Let me write this down. I need to know who you are, and I need to know the name of this business. That way I know who I'm doing business with. Because there's bad people out there. I'm sure you're not a scammer, but there is some like that out there. Okay, so could you spell that? I had Associates Lien and Recovery. Is that even a thing? Is that a legal name? Let's see what this says right here. Here's a device right here. Okay, hang on a second here. I need the phone number for Associates Lien and Recovery. Eagle Recovery, Lead Recovery, Environmental Protection, National Alliance for Recovery. See, it's not even a real thing. It's not even a real thing. It's not real. It's not real. Encompass Health, the trusted choice for inpatient rehabilitation. I need the Better Business Bureau rating for Associates Lien and Recovery out of Fall River, Massachusetts. The Better Business Bureau, BBB, does not have an official rating for Associates Lien and Recovery specifically, but they do list a business called Asset Recovery Associates. This business is not BBB accredited and has a profile on the BBB website where complaints can be viewed. No accreditation, blah blah blah. Let's see here. The Better Business Bureau BBB rating for Asset Recovery Associates with an address out of Fall River, Massachusetts is not accredited. This means the business is not a member of the BBB. The BBB website does not provide a letter grade or rating for non-accredited businesses, but it does allow consumers to leave reviews and complaints. Huh. There's something there. Okay, let's see here a different way. Let's just type in the name. Associates Lien and Recovery. Associated Lien. About Associated Lien Services. Workman's comp building, blah, blah, blah. Portfolio recovery. Nope. How to tell if a debt collector is legit. To determine if a collector is legitimate, you can verify their information, request debt validation, and check their licensing. Legitimate collectors will provide their name, company details, and contact information upon request. They also need to send you a written notice verifying the debt within 5 days of initial contact, which you can also request. You can also cross-reference the debt with your credit report and contact the original creditor. Here's a detailed breakdown. Verify the collector's identity. Ask for their name, company name, and contact information. Legitimate collectors should be willing to provide this information without hesitation. Check their phone number and their address online. Verify that the information given is accurate and leads to a legitimate business. Request a debt validation letter. This letter should include name of the original creditor, the amount of the debt, and how the collector obtained the debt. Look at the collector's name, company on the NMLS Consumer Access website if they are licensed or with your state's Secretary of State and Department of Insurance. That's the NMLS Consumer Access website. Look up the collector's name and company on the NMLS Consumer Access website. If they are licensed or with your state Secretary of State and Department of Insurance, contact the original creditor directly. If you are unsure, contact the original creditor to verify that they have assigned the debt to the collection agency. Number 2, look for red flags. Refusal to provide information, demands for immediate payment, use of untraceable payment methods, threats or scare tactics, calling at odd hours, unfamiliar debts, asking for personal information. What to do if you suspect a scam? Hang up. If you believe the call is a scam, simply hang up. Document everything. Keep a record of all communications with the debt collector. Report to the Federal Trade Commission and your state's Attorney General. I guess that's what we'll do next. Maybe we'll send this video to the state's Attorney General. Okay, so we'll see if we have any more problems. Let's document it. Let's get this. Okay, right here. That's what they originally said. Then on the last phone call, they said that they were a lawyer's office. This is their stuff right here. They said they were going to sue me in Denton County. They said it was this. They said this was the amount. They said that this place kicked it back to this place back in 2016. And, yeah. So that's that. It's probably all backwards. I don't know. Follow me for more tips and tricks on how to navigate modern problems. Except the part where you call your wife, you're like, why did you tell me about the mail? And they're like, there wasn't no mail. So, yeah. All right, Raquel, go get them. Could you spell that?